We've got thousands of friends online, endless feeds to scroll through, and literally millions of people are just a click away. So, what's the deal? Why do so many of us feel more disconnected than ever before? In this explainer, we're going to dive in and unpack this strange modern paradox.
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? Our phones are buzzing all day with notifications, our calendars look packed, but that deep, genuine feeling of connection, it can still feel like it's a million miles away. If you've ever found yourself feeling lonely in a crowded digital room, trust me, you are so not alone in feeling that way. Okay, so this slide really breaks it all down perfectly. On one side, you've got the illusion of connection, all those shiny metrics like followers, likes, notifications. But on the other side, that's the reality for a lot of us. This feeling of being unseen, unheard, and just lacking any real depth. It's all just digital noise, not real human interaction.
So you gotta wonder, how did we get here? Let's explore some of the digital traps that can actually make us feel more isolated, a lot of the time without us even realizing it's happening.
Think about it. All our tech promises us convenience, but sometimes that convenience leads straight to disconnection. We're chatting with bots for quick answers, but an AI can't give you empathy, right? It can't share a real experience with you. And this is exactly how our interactions start to feel shallow, and we end up chasing the quantity of followers over the quality of our friendships. And that leads right to this quote, which has never, ever been more true. We just scroll and scroll through these perfectly curated highlight reels, comparing our messy, unfiltered real lives to someone else's polished online mirage. And that constant comparison, it just sets us up with totally unrealistic expectations and this deep down feeling of being inadequate.
And of course, that mirage is what fuels FOMO, the fear of missing out. Seeing what everyone else is supposedly doing all the time can seriously take a toll on you. Then you add the constant buzz and ding of notifications, and what you get is techno-stress. It's a state where our brains are so digitally overwhelmed that it feels almost impossible to just unplug and be present.
But here's the thing about loneliness. It isn't always obvious. It can be really sneaky, creeping into our lives and masquerading as something else entirely. So let's take a look at some of the hidden signs.
A packed calendar might make it look like you have a really full life, but sometimes it's just a coping mechanism. We find ourselves filling every single spare moment with some kind of activity just to distract ourselves from a feeling of emptiness.
So it's worth asking yourself, is all this frantic activity really about being productive, or is it maybe a way to avoid your own thoughts and feelings? It's a really powerful question to sit with for a minute.
And then there's good old-fashioned escapism. I mean, who hasn't lost themselves for hours in a TV show? It can feel comforting, for sure, but it can also deepen that feeling of isolation. And on the flip side of that, you get the urge to overshare with strangers, which often comes from a really deep unmet need to just be seen and heard by somebody. It's a lot like retail therapy, right? That quick rush from an impulse buy can feel like a connection, but it's just a temporary placeholder. And this last one is so key. If you consistently feel drained after social events, it might mean you're not spending time with people who truly energize you. Real connection should fill you up, not leave you feeling depleted.
Okay, so now that we've identified some of the signs, let's try to map out what's happening on the inside. Understanding the different levels of loneliness can help you figure out not just that you're feeling lonely, but why.
We can actually break loneliness down into 4 main levels. First, you've got situational loneliness, which is caused by your circumstances, like a big move. Then there's social loneliness, which is that feeling of not really belonging to a group or a tribe. Next up is emotional loneliness, the lack of a really deep, intimate bond. And finally, there's chronic loneliness, which is when that feeling becomes long-term and just sticks around.
This table gives us a really clear breakdown. So for example, you might feel situational loneliness after moving to a new city. That makes sense. But you could also be surrounded by people at a party and feel emotionally lonely because you don't have that one deep connection with anyone there. You see, understanding these differences is absolutely essential to addressing the root cause.
Recognizing these feelings, and even giving them a name, is the first and most important step. So now for the good part. Let's talk about the path back to real, genuine connection. It really comes down to a powerful 3-step approach. First, find a healthier balance with technology. Start using it as a tool, not as a default habit. Second, be intentional about prioritizing real-world moments. And third, actively nurture your emotional needs by seeking out relationships where you feel truly, deeply understood.
And this is really the ultimate takeaway. The solution isn't going to be another app or a bigger online network. It's found in the messy, beautiful, and totally unfiltered moments that we share with other people in the real world.
So I'll leave you with this question. What's one real connection that you can nurture today? It doesn't have to be some grand gesture. Maybe it's just calling a friend instead of texting them. Or maybe it's just putting your phone away during dinner. What's one small step you can take to build a bridge back to connection?